Getting set for the first Big Ten season to include 18 schools, 4 new ones, including UCLA. New head coach as well in DeShaun Foster, who took over the program in mid-February after the departure of Chip Kelly. New to being a head coach, but not new to coaching, and not new to coaching at UCLA. Was a great Bruins running back in his day, 44 career touchdowns, has been the running backs coach, and UCLA has led the Pac-12 in rushing each of the last 2 seasons, so it's had a huge impact. DeShaun Foster joining us now. Coach, it's special to be a head coach for the first time, but it's got to be particularly special at your alma mater. Give people a sense of what UCLA means to you.
UCLA just means, it's a prestigious university first, and then just the fact that I'm able to be the head coach at my university is, I'm just blessed. So I'm just happy to be in this situation and, just looking forward to the season.
I mean, if someone would have told you a year ago this is kind of where you were going to be, right? I mean, it's such a huge change. Just give me a sense of in what ways your life has changed here in the last year, going from being a position coach, not a coordinator, but a position coach, to being the head coach.
In all aspects, when you're a position coach, you're kind of locked in on your position a little bit. And then I mostly was, I took pride in that. So I really was locked in on my guys. And now that I have the whole team, I just like that because I get to touch more people. When I was a running back coach, I could only really get my hands on the offense, or the scout team defensive players, But now that I'm the head coach, I get to Jay, Toya, the starting D-tackle, starting corners, just everybody. I'm able to be involved, and, I'm just able to touch guys on a bigger scale. So.
You talked about opening up the program from a recruiting aspect so people can get an opportunity to see what UCLA has to offer them. What went into that thought process, and why did you want to do things that way?
I just kind of just went back to what made me want to come to UCLA. What did I see? And it was just basically just the access of the school, seeing the university, going to the Rose Bowl, seeing them win games. So I just wanted to open it up and let people see what UCLA has to offer because the school is amazing. We're in a great area in Los Angeles. We play top football. We have a great basketball program. Sports are huge at our school. So, and we're the #1 public institute. So you get a lot with UCLA. I just wanted to get it exposed.
I want to follow up and kind of expand on the question Dave asked you in your answer, just in your ability to, going from a running back to a head coach to touch the team. I imagine it's a steep learning curve, right? And you go through spring ball, that's brand new. You learn a lot. Now you're going into camp ahead of your first season. What has changed even in these first few months in terms of how you're able not just to touch those players but interact with them and be a part of the growth of your defense as a whole?
It's changed a lot because, I used to speak in offense in practice. Right. And I had to change the way that I'm talking and just certain stuff. I couldn't just sit in the offensive meeting rooms. I can't just sit in there with the running back. So, it's a complete learning curve. But I was excited for it, and, spring went really well, and I'm just looking forward to training camp.
What are some of the things that you're looking for to training camp, as you just mentioned?
Just getting out there and then seeing the guys continue to compete. They finished our spring ball really well competing, and they carried that over into summer conditioning, and I just want to see if we bring that back in training camp.
So you bring in Eric Bieniemy as your offensive coordinator and play caller, and the jump from he's coming over from the NFL, right? Won some Super Bowls with Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid, and with that being a job in the NFL, you have more time to learn a deep and complex playbook, right? And he was hired real late in the process as well. What's the conversations been like with him and with Ethan, your quarterback, and the offense as a whole? Like, what has he had to do to adjust his play calling system and playbook so your offense can fully grasp it and execute?
That's funny because he really didn't dumb it down at all.
Okay.
I love that he just came in there and Ethan wanted the whole offense. He didn't want to just give me pieces of this, and Ethan wanted to know exactly how the plays are going to be called. Don't baby this install for me and let me grasp it and teach the rest of the team. But, Ethan did a good job at leading the team, learning the offense, teaching our other players on offense. So, the sky's the limit for our offense, and I'm just excited that EB was able to get in here. We get some other offensive coaches, teach them the system, and then they were able to teach our players.
As you start to get prepared to come into this conference, What's the scouting been like as far as being able to look at teams and see the strengths and where you want to continue to build your program so you have it exactly where you want to be?
You're always scouting. So, I've been checking out all 17 teams, but it's a tough conference, but this is what you want. You want to play big-time football, If you're a big-time football player, you want to play big-time games. So I'm excited for this conference. This is going to help us get an opportunity to be in the playoffs. It also gives us an opportunity to win end-of-season awards. So I'm looking forward to it. Our players are too. Just the access that they're getting. And with playing in the Big Ten, it's similar to the NFL. You're going to be traveling to play games, and that's exactly what happens in the NFL. So what's better than to figure out your plan or your routine now before you get to the league?
Has recruiting changed at all, or have you seen a difference recruiting-wise, not just on the West Coast, but moving east?
Yeah, most definitely, because now I can tell parents you can see your son play. It was tough coming into the Midwest and asking parents, like, hand your son over and let me take him back west.
Yeah.
And you might not see him play unless you come to see us. But now that we're going to be playing locally and around this area, I'm excited for that. And, I've seen a lot of parents that are open to it, and they're excited about it too, because they know the market that LA can bring, and then playing in the Big Ten, it's amazing.
I hear you talk with your opening statement today and some of your other pressers, and we've even talked about this before, how you want your team to be like fierce and competitive and really energetic. And talking to you, you're very calm and like poised, and it doesn't seem like you feel any type of pressure. What's practice like with you? Like, what's the team get to see? Do you chew guys out if there's a mistake? Can you give us a look behind the curtain of what you're like in practice?
It's the complete opposite of this.
Really? Okay.
I can attest to that.
Yes, it's the complete opposite of this. But just me as a player, I was never a raw guy. I was into the game, I was locked in, but I always felt no matter what you do, it's still 0-0. So that's just the way I approach it. When we get out on the field, that's when my personality comes out, and that's when you got to get going. And, as long as my running backs are very similar to me that I've had and coached, and, it's worked. And I'm not going to make the team be calm and relaxed, but I'm just excited. I like to call it athletic arrogance. You have to have that if you want to be a successful player, and I'm pretty confident in my coaching ability, so I'm excited for this.
How about travel? We've talked a lot about that. Coaches are making adjustments, whether it's going a day early, if it's a Saturday game, maybe a Thursday night. Are those some of the things that you guys have looked into? Yeah,
I've looked into all of that. I'm still doing a little bit more research. I've reached out to the Rams, Chargers, Seattle. I reached out to Pete Carroll, a lot of coaches. I've just reached out to a lot of people because I just want to see how everybody's handled that. That's the biggest thing for us. But I'm not really worried about the travel. For me, it's more of the stadiums.
Okay.
So going to Penn State, being in 100,000, they haven't seen that. It's just a wow factor. I don't think the flight is really going to take much out of us, but I think being in the stadium and getting over how big it is, that could affect us.
Yeah. You won't be tired after a long flight to Beaver Stadium when you get in front of that. You can't be tired.
Exactly.
That's just added adrenaline.
Yeah,
They'll get going. I want to ask you about the defensive side of the ball, because you're replacing your leading tackler, you're leading the guy with the most interceptions, leading sack artist in Liatu Latu. So you're replacing some production. What are the expectations for that unit this fall?
It's going to be a collective thing. This is more of we had some very good individual players, and they played good as a defense, but we can't just replace those individual players, so the whole defense needs to do that. And I'm excited for them. The defense did a really good job in spring. They played hard. They really got us going offensively. We brought Jay Toya back, and that was a huge get for us. He was giving us hell all spring. So, I think our linemen are pretty excited, because they're not going to see too many guys like Jay Toya. But it's it's tough, but we're looking forward to it.
What do you do in practice at that point? Because that had to have been a learning curve too. You're the head coach.
Yeah.
He's making plays, but was that an adjustment too to help celebrate with the defense?
Yeah, I just go celebrate with him and then take him to the sideline with me.
Coach, you were talking about the defensive changes, and Ikaka Malloy was promoted internally, had been a position coach for you. He's now the defensive coordinator. What's that jump going to be like for him, and what have you said to him about, look, a lot of pressure, particularly given how good the defense was a year ago. What's kind of the marching orders as he heads into that?
Well, it kind of started with the bowl game, because he called our bowl game also.
Yeah.
So it started with that. But, I just let him know defense wins games. And he knows that too. Him being a defensive player, being a linebacker, he played at Washington. He understands that, we're going to lean on our defense heavily, and especially being in this conference we are. So I just wanted to let him know, just get these guys to play hard and rally and, show discipline, respect, and enthusiasm, and we should be good.
I want to ask about discipline, respect, and enthusiasm. I know those are the pillars of the program. What does each one of those words mean to you? Give people a sense of why you chose those as your pillars and how you define each one of them.
Well, the discipline aspect, I got that from my father. He was an ex-Marine, and just being in the household with him, I always remember him saying there's nobody successful that's not disciplined. So I just wanted to always make sure that my players understood that. And when I was a running back coach, that's all I did. Discipline, discipline, discipline. And it worked. So I'm just going to take that and put it on a bigger scale and do that with the team, The respect, it comes from, you have to respect women, teachers, the game, your teammates, professors. The respect aspect comes in everything. That's life. And the discipline is also. And then enthusiasm, we just got to have fun. This is football. Have fun out there. When you're having fun, you'll do anything if you really think about it. When you've worked hard for something and you're having fun, it won't bother you when it gets tough. So I just want my guys to get out there and have fun and just show the type of brand of football that we play.
It's an interesting spot. I know so many people in the Big Ten are so excited to have these 4 new schools. I think the truth is that a lot of people are still trying to get to know them. And, hey, what is special about each one of these places? What makes them tick? Clearly, one of the things that's special about UCLA is the rivalry with USC, the Victory Bell game every year, especially as someone who played in that game, who kind of bleeds the Bruin blue and gold. Give us a sense of what that game means for people who haven't experienced it. How important is that game, and how does it play out on the field?
This game is this is actually the first color rush, because we both wear home uniforms at home. So this is before the NFL really jumped on that. Both teams are wearing their home uniforms. That's kind of what makes it special, because you just see the colors of the game out there. But I think the distance of the schools is what really makes it, because like when I played in the game, there's guys on the other team that I either was on the same team with or we had played against each other, and I mean multiple times throughout our whole lives. So like Carson Palmer was a quarterback when I was there. We played against each other multiple times from like 7th grade all the way up. So, it's just a little deeper rivalry, and it's just exciting when like families can get involved and it's not just a game. So it's just a little deeper, but I'm excited that the rest of the world is actually going to get to see it, and the Big Ten is going to put this rivalry on a whole other scale.
Well, we are fired up to have UCLA as a part of the league and to have you joining us as a head coach here in the Big Ten. Really looking forward to following the Bruins this year and in the years to come. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
That is DeShaun Foster, the